What would you do up in space?
Oh, I'd love to do the taking various substances into the secure room and just letting them like float around and see what they do in zero gravity.
That's a good. I'd try to like make a soup without like a pot, without like a pot or anything.
You need to get the room really hot.
Well,
would you make a good space chef?
That's a good question. There's currently no occupation called space chef, and I think I could be the first. I guess I think I could be the first space chef.
I think that would work out really well.
I'd try to make a cake in midair.
How would you bake it?
And that one we are gonna have to overheat the room a little bit.
You will just have to suck it up and take the heat.
You get all the ingredients. You manage to like mix it up into like a weird goo.
What if?
Yeah.
You put it in and you superheat the room, and because there's no gravity, it just keeps expanding. Like not obviously infinitely, but it just gets a lot bigger than it normally would.
This is the bed. This is the bed chambers. This is the bathroom. This is the airlock. This is the cake room.
We made a mistake.
We made a mistake. We now have a room that is 100% cake.
I think that's the future of space travel.
Cake?
They have the spacewalk. Well, the cakewalk.
Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness gracious.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Speculation Station. I'm Joseph Thomas here, as always, with my good buddy Eric.
Zip zap zoop.
On Speculation Station, this is a show where we take a video game, be it a series or a single title, and we turn it into a movie. And not just any movie.
A mediocre movie, trying to get 55% on Rotten Tomatoes or above. But we don't really care about the above. We're going for the baseline.
Right. We're trying to make something that you would at least go and see. You turn around, you're going to pay for the ticket. You may look at the movie and say, was it worth it? Possibly not, but I'm glad I went.
Or at the very least, you'd read about it on Reddit. You read the comments of people who saw it.
And we're hoping that it would be a 50-50 split of people who would be like, this was great, and people who are like, I hated this with my entire life.
Well, actually, 55% split. 55-45, I guess.
Well, we can't. The internet's always a little twisted.
Man, it was such a competent intro. We're doing such a good job.
It's in our hearts and in our souls.
Until someone says the wrong number.
That's not my fault.
Well, I did say 55 like 30 seconds earlier.
Well, then I should have said half and half, because then it wouldn't have been in percentages.
Still would have been wrong.
Yeah, but it would have been. You could have let that.
Wrong.
You could have let that slide like a good boy.
Let's talk about a video game.
So today we're going to talk about one of my least knowledgeable games, but I do know about it.
They're going to say least favorite.
No, I hate it. We're going to be talking about Space Invaders. I have played my fair share of Space Invaders. Eric hates it. He wants to destroy it with everything
I've played
in his being.
It's not like a deep game.
Exactly.
It's not like there's a deep well of inspiration to draw from. It's like primitive Galaga.
Galaga made it so that the enemies moved much more complexly, I guess.
Randomly.
Well, no, there was a pattern always in Galaga.
Not if you didn't remember it.
If a tree falls in the forest and no one's there, does it make a sound?
Not if you only played Galaga once every like 3 years.
My mom was big in Galaga, so I had to keep getting it for her on different consoles.
Look at these little bugs moving around.
What do you remember distinctly about Space Invaders from what you played of it?
It's I remember it clearly. You got the little bugs / maybe robots moving in the lines.
Uh-huh.
You're moving below them. You got the little cover.
Yep. What can happen to that cover?
It can get destroyed.
And what can happen to you?
You can get destroyed.
But what can happen to the bugs?
They can get destroyed.
So you would say the game revolves around a lot of destruction?
No.
Oh,
destruction.
Well, we had to figure out what the purpose of Space Invaders is. Last, on our Tetris episode, we had to kind of break down Tetris to its most remedial
Are you implying we should do another
metaphor.
Tetris? Because I don't know if I got that in me.
We're not going to do another Tetris, but we need to decide what it is, and then we just need to branch off with that. Rather than make a metaphor, just say, what is in its most basic form? What is Space Invaders?
It's a tale of immigration.
Wait a minute.
Arguably, I mean, I'll play along with your game, but arguably we could probably just go with my idea for Tetris, which was they invade from space. All right. So like we said, you got bugs coming down. You're shooting. Mm-hmm. Are they bugs or robots?
They're aliens.
Or aliens? Alien bugs or just aliens?
It just says aliens.
Okay, so aliens. You got cover system, I guess, and you have a shooter who I assume is human.
Do you think it's a ship or do you think it's like a tank?
I thought it was just a dude.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
Oh, yeah, it's a little thing with a nub on it, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, a dude can have a nub on it. We know about that.
What's he shooting them with?
The implication, I think, by the box art is that it's some kind of moving cannon. Like, it's a cannon on, like, a track that goes, back and forth. Like a turret.
Like a cannon.
Like a turret.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right. Not a lot. Arguably, because there are things that exist, we have even less room to wiggle around than we did with Tetris.
Yeah.
Where we just kind of captured the essence of it, I guess.
I think we can still capture the essence.
I don't know. I feel like we have to literally put in the 3 elements that we have.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they have to be in through the entirety of the film.
All right. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking we give the aliens a backstory.
Oh, boy.
Well, all right. It depends on the route we want to go. If we want to go the route of what I'm thinking, which is like, hey, do you remember watching those cartoons in the 80s where the characters were very two-dimensional, but it did not make them...
Sorry.
That's good, though. But it did not make them unenjoyable. Like, you knew what Skeletor was after. You know what he was doing. Didn't make him not evil.
What if we flip it on its head? Now, hang on.
Ooh.
What if instead of the aliens coming to Earth,
I don't think we've done a full comedy yet.
What if it's the humans coming to space/alien planet? So they are the Space Invaders. We are.
That'd be funny.
Flip it on its head.
Like, you thinking serious, or you thinking just kind of like a?
Not serious, my boy.
Okay, that's what I was hoping.
Now I do want to point out. Before we get too into it.
Oh, I'm already deep.
There was a 1990 movie called Space Invaders. Which does not seem to have any resemblance to Space Invaders other than the fact that it's called Space Invaders, which is a very hard title to say.
I remember such good movies as Spaced Balls and 2001 A Spaced Odyssey.
There was one called Resident Evil. This resident sure is evil.
It's getting out of hand.
But this was a comedy with very good alien costumes, as I'm sure you could imagine, having never heard of this movie. Where Martians land on Earth in Illinois. Big Bean, Illinois.
Is that the actual name of it?
That's the name of where they land. That's the name of the town where they land.
I'm going to assume that doesn't exist.
Not anymore. What if we do a cartoon? A little 2D cartoon action. We haven't done a cartoon yet.
I don't know if we want to break out the cartoon for this one. I mean, I'm down with it.
If we're going like silly, like 80s style cartoon.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
We can do an Iron Giant with it, where it's like, it's got serious undertones, maybe. Or we could just have it be like full dumb comedy.
I don't think it should be full dumb comedy, but I think it should be overwhelmingly comedic. Here's the premise. I think I like your idea.
You already got the premise.
Well, if you got a premise, go ahead and share with the class.
No, go ahead. I like
your idea of it's the humans invading the alien planet. They are the space invaders.
Such a dumb name.
I get it though. Spaced isn't like spaced out, like stupid. And they're,
it's still a bad name.
Of course it is. And I think the only reason they probably did it is because they were like, oh, we can't use Space Invaders.
Because every time you say it, you have to think, did I say that right? Because it doesn't it doesn't have a good mouthfeel. There's a
lot of single word movies that I end up either adding a plural onto, and I'm questioning whether or not there should be a plural.
That's because you're a space invader.
I think it should be an alien planet. And I think the humans should be in ships that look almost bug-like.
Oh, I was going to say the aliens are the bugs. You're saying we completely switch it.
I don't know. I'm open to suggestions here. What would be your argument for the aliens being bugs? Do you think it would have more of a comedic effect if they were the...
Well, I get where you're coming from. So you're implying with this that we are playing as the aliens in the game Space Invaders.
Yeah. We are to them we are the aliens, but it looks like kind of resembling the game, you know?
I was just gonna say the aliens are the bugs because that makes more sense to me visually.
That's
but
fair.
I guess the humans can be in bug ships.
No, we can have the aliens be bugs. I think we'd need a reason to like them. They're our main characters.
Just because they're bugs? What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say we'd have to make them look appealing, because if we made them look like the bugs in the games, they'd look... I don't know if I'd want to look at those as the main character.
That could be their heads. Like, they go like... You know, kind of like a District 9 feel.
Oh, okay. Or like a... What are those things from Half-Life called? The Vortigons.
Oh, sure. Yeah, sure.
I don't know if we feel edges, for District 9. I didn't.
Faces, edges, and Vortigons.
I remember math class.
I remember geometry. I remember taught by Dr. Freeman.
You take a crowbar and say, you use this to find an opening. Always find an opening.
Use this. Here's a... excuse me, doctor, can I get a protractor? Nah, here's a crowbar. Figure it out. It's straight.
Straight enough. I think there's some blood on this.
Wash it off, kid.
He was a great doctor. Anyway,
head crab.
I think, yeah, okay. So we have them humanoid bodies with bug-like things, and then the heads are more bug-like, like you said, District 9 kind of style.
But like more appealing.
And I think this is an obvious question, but let's ask it anyway. Should they speak English?
Yeah, Joseph.
Okay. Well, I mean, we could always go the route where everything's subtitled except for the humans.
I love kids' movies like that, especially for kids that can't read. So much fun. So much fun for them.
You saying Star Wars isn't a kid movie?
Yeah. It's rated PG. That means there needs to be parental guidance.
So there needs to at least be some parent there.
There needs to be a parent in the room for a child to watch Star Wars.
You want to go to a theater that's rated G and just see a bunch of 8-year-olds, just only 8 to 12-year-olds sitting in there.
We're getting off track here.
So the aliens, we've already defined what our aliens are going to look like. Humanoid bodies, bug-like heads. What are the humans going to look like?
Humans.
Yeah, but what are their ships going to look like? What are they invading in?
Well, if the humans are if the aliens are bug-like, then the humans have to look like the little pew-pew ship.
Well, that was a laser cannon.
There can be a laser cannon on a ship, I guess. I mean, I don't really care. It could just be, generic sci-fi ship.
Just starfighters. Just
like pods and stuff. Probably not as cool looking as starfighters, because the humans are kind of, I assume, going to be kind of dopey and dumb in this movie.
Oh, let's go ahead and define that. What is...
As opposed to like a legitimate threat who's like, they're rounding us up and killing us.
I think that would be a good idea, to make him more dopey and stupid. Because if you think in comparison, obviously the game gets harder as time goes on. That's the whole premise of Space Invaders. But we don't have to delve into that. I think if we think on the subject of, when you play the first few levels of Space Invaders, which I think the majority of people do, and then they forget the game exists.
Yes.
Is they move very slowly.
Mm-hmm.
And they move in a row, very specifically. So, I would assume that if we made the humans indicative of this, we could make some fat astronauts.
I was thinking more like the FBI agent in Iron Giant. Was he FBI? CIA?
Yeah, the investigator, yeah.
Yeah, where he's like super over the top, like paranoid, very like Americana,
Oh, okay, so these guys are like liberation, like we're gonna, this planet is ours, kind of thing.
Yeah. So you got the humans coming in. That's their ships. They land on the planet.
Should they?
The aliens have.
Should they? Oh, I get what you're saying. I think I get what you're saying. Instead of it being that they're in space coming towards them, and that's when the shooting happens, they're already on the planet and they're walking towards them.
Well, if it's a guy with a laser cannon.
Laser cannons aim up.
True, yeah, I guess. I was thinking more of a less literal Space Invaders. Well, I mean, kind of literal.
Like they're invading your space. They're not invading from. Well, they are invading from space. They're not invading in space.
They came from. They are invaders who came from space, as opposed to literally invading space.
Oh, so they're spaced invaders.
They're spaced invaders. Uh-oh. Don't want the director of that movie. Hang on. Don't want. Don't want. Ooh, Patrick Reed Johnson coming after me.
We've got two different images here. Your image is them on the ground with cannons shooting at them. My image is them from space with cannons shooting at them. Let's define what we want to go ahead and do there. And we need to build a story around it, because I think they obviously shouldn't start invading hostilely immediately.
No, you don't think so?
No, I think we got to build up to that. Because remember, this is a movie. This isn't just a short. If it was just a short, we could make a whole comedy thing about that. Sure, fine, whatever.
What if the humans spoke a weird language, because to the aliens they don't understand?
I think that'd be funny. Yeah, I like that.
So like, you have a sergeant on the radio, he's like,
yeah, it's just like gibberish. Yeah. I think it would be funny if, in comparison, they all sound violent and harsh, in the same way that some people would say, like, oh, German is such a harsh sounding language. But of course, when they're talking, it's just that there's a lot of consonants, And so I think it would be funny if the gibberish, and they always sound harsh and barking, and the humans maybe try, try is a very loose term here, but try to like have some kind of communication with it. But the aliens like don't know what's going on, and they think they're being attacked, so they fight back. And then the humans are like, rah! And then they start attacking full on. Like they go back, and they know it's like, oh crap, they're gonna go back. It's like maybe they fled, and then they come back with reinforcements, and it's like, oh, well, that's not what we were expecting.
Should we come up with a story now? You want to go ahead and do the story?
Let's go ahead and do the story, because then we can pad it out. We can spend the last hours of our life padding out the jokes here. So
okay, I think we should make this. This is gonna sound maybe strange. I think we should make it very similar to Earth. At least in like feel.
Oh, like okay. So it's
like they have mailboxes. They got houses in a neighborhood.
So not similar visually, but similar in civilization and procedures.
So it's like someone who, even if a baby boy's watching it, he gets it. It's like Earth.
Yeah, that's usually how the cartoons do it. I mean, I can hardly imagine alien worlds and kid shows that aren't very human-like. Unless the alien is like supposed to be animal-like, and it's like, oh, it's a dog, or something. But
look at that dog.
But if the aliens are supposed to be humanoid, then it's going to be like, oh yeah, he's going out and look, the alien dog is peeing on an alien fire hydrant,
How do we start?
I think we should show the aliens as being almost this utopian race.
I like that.
Because it would show like maybe there's something that they have that the humans don't, be it either in their society or in their mentality, that keeps them from being warlike. Because this is going to sound really weird. I want there to be the concept of invaders as a big thing. So maybe they've never had to deal with that.
What if there is a... Now stick with... Because we about to get weird.
Okay.
What if there's a hive mind? Now hang on.
Ooh.
What if the hive mind is... What if like years ago, the hive mind... was he is or she is like this big giant bug. Like I'm imagining like this big fat bug like sat up on a throne.
Literally, yeah, like a queen bee.
Yeah. And somehow her control over a few of their minds was let loose. Maybe she got she overreached too much. And they saw that this was like it was terrible what she was doing, so they like managed to free everyone and like lull her to sleep. I say that because if we're going off that Space Invaders image of the aliens coming towards it, maybe the hive mind later in the movie wakes up and she starts controlling the minds, and she's like, "Oh, the invaders are bad," so she starts sending aliens, controlling aliens, and a hive mind sends them in that kind of movement.
I think we can do that without implementing the hive mind.
But I like
the hive mind a bit, but it also
gives us an antagonist without it having to be the humans.
I like that because the humans are antagonistic, but they're not they're not the main villains, right?
And like because of a misunderstanding, maybe they try to talk to the humans and they don't get anywhere, or maybe they assume it's aggression, and so the humans like send a bomb onto the planet and it wakes up the hive mind.
Ooh, okay. Here's an idea. So let's go with that hive mind route. And I'm gonna go ahead and set some foundation. If you want to change it, we definitely can.
Give me a little foundation under my booty.
We show the opening is the society as it is now.
The utopia.
You see the bug people, they're happy, they're living. You got, like you said, the guy,
the
alien guy in his alien bathrobe, checking his alien mailbox, sipping his alien coffee while he looks out and sees other people living happy lives.
His alien husband comes out, gives him a kiss on the alien cheeks. And,
with his large alien mandibles go.
I'm going to the alien bank, honey. Says, gotta make an alien withdrawal. And he says, why do you keep saying alien?
Dude, you're scaring me, dude.
You're very confused. What's happening?
But, I definitely think we showcase it as this utopia. We showcase, everything's going good. How are we going to present the history?
What if we make the main character a teacher?
Ooh.
Man, I'm good at this.
No, I like that even more because that showcases.
I know. I just said I'm good at this.
Well, I like that even more than you do. You don't understand. I like it more than you do.
Sorry, alien teacher.
I want to make it. Let's make him like a grade school teacher.
Yeah, he teaches the history to a bunch of little snot-nosed kids.
I think that also shows the sensitivity of this character.
Is this our main character?
I think this should be our main character.
Maybe his goal, if the hive mind's goal is to destroy the humans, his goal is to make peace with the humans.
Okay, then let's.
Sorry for cussing.
Let's twist that a little bit. Instead of him being a teacher, let's have him be a quote-unquote political figure. But of course, in this utopian world, that's a positive thing. Because he's very diplomatic.
I don't know.
No. But hold on.
All right.
But he goes to speak with the kids one day. Like that'd be like how it starts. Is it's like, all right, whoever the significant other is like, I'm going to do this, and he's like, don't forget, you've got to do that. Talking with the kids today. And he's like, oh man, this is gonna be great. Getting to talk to you.
No, I like that. No one is negative.
Yeah.
Like we think he's gonna be like, oh man, I don't want to, but it's like, oh boy, I love talking to kids.
Right. It's a very alien thing from us.
I don't know. I like the idea of him being a teacher more.
I think he could.
Because I like the idea of him being like kind of nobody.
Okay. So you think, give me what you're thinking first.
I'm thinking, I liked your grade school like history teacher.
Okay.
I like that a lot. And then, and because what they say, those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. And that's kind of emphasized in the hive mind. Yeah. Who literally removes memories from people because she controls them. But he's like, he manages to like figure out how to communicate with the humans and stop the invasion or the battles at least.
Okay.
From these space invaders.
All right, so here's what I think. Then with that concept, guy goes to school, is teacher. Let's say guy. He could be anything. He could be a she. It could be a whatever because it's an alien, and more importantly, it doesn't matter. Main character.
That's its pronouns. It's alien pronouns. Yes.
Is teacher. Main character is a teacher teaching little runts. Like
here. Let's come up. Name Griznek. Griznek.
I think the name should be a little more reasonable. I think if we want to go the comedic route, the name should be like really close to human names, just slightly different. Because in the end, we find out that, the humans, not in the end, but like in the middle, we find out the humans sound like gibberish to them.
Gruffry.
Yeah, like something stupid. But it's like, you don't feel weird because when they start saying it normally and it's used in a normal context, it's like, okay, that's his name,
Have fun at work, Gruffry. Thank you, Grobias. Grobias, my love.
Grobias, you always are growing.
You're 17 feet tall.
Giant husband.
Let me walk up you with my feet and see how many feet you are. Aliens!
So, here's the idea.
Yeah.
Teacher, teaching the runts, teaches the history of the hive mind, I think
or at least that day.
Yeah, is that day is teaching and saying, it's like, maybe, there shouldn't really be any negativity, I think, but I think there should be a sense of like, hey, we're going to teach this, and this is something that is kind of a negative aspect of our history, but you need to learn it.
Right, but it's good to learn.
Exactly.
What if we got like really kind of tongue-in-cheek? This might be too far, but it's like, maybe there is someone running for a political office, and like he's having a very civil debate with the political opposition, and you see people on either side, they're like talking, they're having good discussions. So I was like, man, democracy's great.
I think that would be funny to showcase, because once again, even if it is tongue in cheek, it would be
we just don't want it to be too
but I think it would be funny to do that in the sense of like, oh, it's a joke, but I think it would also be beneficial to the story, because it would showcase without the hive mind, they're doing pretty well for themselves. Now, who knows how long that will last? It's a movie. Who cares? Which is
kind of ironic, because usually the hive mind makes things great in sci-fi.
Things, right?
For the society, not usually there's an invasion of some kind. Yeah. Okay. So Greffrey is teaching history, and we get a little backstory, of this world. We get maybe Greffrey can make it kind of mythical. He's like, and they say that she still sleeps under this earth to this day.
So we can imply that it's something that happened eons ago.
Right, because, Utopia don't get built in a day.
Of course. All right, I like that.
What if we, jumping way ahead, what if there's a big twist? You know how kids' movies like these twists.
Oh, I like twists too.
What if it turns out that the hive mind was controlling people this whole time? At least some people.
Oh, go ahead, continue.
I don't know how that would fit, but that'd be cool.
What I was thinking is there were sympathizers with the hive mind that still existed, and this might be getting too deep for a kid's movie, but you get the sense of like there's somebody somewhere who, when the hive mind gets woken up and they realize that it's back, but then that would imply that it happened recent enough for whatever generation to still be alive. So I don't know if that would work either.
Yeah, that kind of goes against the idea of the utopia.
You get people who don't know how bad the hive mind is and are implying that it's good, but of course they're much more civil about it. They're just like, well, I think the hive mind could work again. You make a valid point, but that could be the political thing. So there's still differing opinions,
Well, yeah, but no one would agree, based on the backstory we've set up, no one would agree that the hive mind was good.
That's probably true.
If it was this very warmongering.
If only that were the case in the real world. Anyway.
Wars are bad.
Wars are bad. And especially to this race, they're like, wars are really bad.
Wars are bad. And maybe that could be kind of, like, not a platform, but like, something everyone's in agreement with. They're like, war is bad.
Everybody claps. Well, I think war is doubly bad.
I mean, we don't want to get to 1984 in the opposite direction. Maybe like there's a PA that's like, remember guys, war is bad.
I think we could do something vague like that, or we could have it be like, that's obviously we don't want to pound that so much. I think
what if you want it to be like a Pledge of Allegiance type thing at the beginning of class?
Yeah, we could do something like the vow not to create conflict, especially in war, especially in blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I like that, because that once again, that's kind of a relatable thing that most school children can understand, because they've either had to stand for it.
I swear my allegiance to a flag I don't understand.
What is this?
So I think either Greffrey's spouse or Greffrey's friend should be a scientist.
Okay.
Who notices an anomaly out in space.
Something's moving.
There's something out there, Greffrey.
You're speaking a weird talk.
Well, no, I think the alien should be
like pleased? Be like, oh wow.
Yeah, they're like, oh boy.
Does it look like...
Oh boy, there's people out there.
Oh, that would be cool, yeah, because it'd be like, we got movement, and it seems to be indicative of space travel and intelligent life.
And you could show that they're like broadcasting this in, like alien Times Square. There's a whole crowd like, yeah!
I like that. Like, well, once again, I think this first quarter of the film, everything's very, very positive. And then I think the second that the bad stuff starts happening, it just kind of like, obviously it's still going to be a kid's film.
Well, because the hive mind is reawakened. Right. And that only exacerbates things.
I think two things should happen, and we could very easily explain them in the moment. is I think they try to talk to the humans. The humans are able to send a signal, but when they get the signal, it's gibberish, like we talked about. It sounds very hostile, and they're like, huh, and maybe one of them's like, what did you say earlier? You said one of the humans takes something that the aliens say as threatening, and they drop a bomb.
Just whatever it is.
I don't know if I like that exactly.
They need a reason to attack the planet.
I think bumbling idiots could just make a mistake, but then I think that we would have to imply that the humans
it needs to be better than that. It's not even an accident.
Oh, I got something better as an idea. But it may not be better, it's just an idea. So they land, and that's when it starts becoming this big thing, like, oh, they're going to meet them, and it's being broadcast, and it's like, you get this astronaut in a spacesuit. We could say that there's some kind of, like, we could showcase this early on with the kids, is there's some kind of formal, quote-unquote, greeting that's really, like, just a polite measure, but it seems very violent. And maybe, like, for 1 second we see through the eyes.
They point guns at him.
Like, they have, like, they're bug-like, and so maybe they've got, like, really sharp, like, claws or mandibles or something, and it doesn't hurt them. And so we see through the eyes of the human for, like, 1 second, and we see, like, this huge mantis-like claw being raised, and the human, we cut, and it's, like, this really terrifying image of a bug, about to slaughter this guy.
Like they like, unsheath, so to speak, their claws and, like, roar up at the sky.
Yeah, and that's like...
But, like, to them, it's a formal greeting.
Right.
But to them...
And that's like a, chest pound, it's like, this is the normal thing. And so the human, I think the human should get scared at that one thing and just straight up shoot the guy.
Or something. Or, like, maybe not that, but, like, he scrambles back to the ship and, like, is beamed up.
Oh, I like that. Okay, so then that would be where the bomb is dropped. Yeah.
But maybe, like, he panics, he gets beamed up, and the aliens are like, I think that went well.
Yeah. They'd be like, it seems he must be going to tell his comrades of the...
And then a kid's like, look, they're shooting fireworks.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
There's a bomb.
Should they be...
Everyone's like, oh,
do you
God.
think the alien race should be naive to weaponry? Because I think there should be something that later... Here was something I was thinking from the beginning.
Do they use weapons in the game?
But here's what I'm thinking. There are weapons that were built back in the hive mind. After the humans attack and the hive mind is reawoken, the hive mind would make some kind of a statement of... We get kind of this dialogue as we're seeing the hive mind. It's a monologue. And it's like, I have awake to control the minds again, but... They're far more than I have the power to control over, or something. And she's like, no matter.
Okay.
I will go ahead and control what I can and turn this against, And then as could see from the eyes of the other individuals, could see the humans attacking and say, we are at war. No wonder I have been awakened. Get the total wrong idea, Yeah.
Although it is a warlike hive mind to begin with.
Right, so automatically everything is like, other race, we are at war. So obviously doesn't try to make the situation better.
Right.
The war is happening, and so the hive mind controlled aliens are the ones shooting at the humans, right? And that's where we get the scenes with the invading, firing thing. We get to the point where while the hive mind aliens are attacking the humans, for whatever reason, and we could probably explain something so it's not just coincidence, the history teacher character is not controlled by the hive mind. Greffrey is not controlled by the hive mind, and so he is trying to, or it is trying to make things better.
I mean, there's two ways we could go about it.
Go ahead.
Or three. One is pure coincidence. Two is he is immune somehow, which, Three, also but maybe he's, like, wearing a helmet or something. Maybe he's wearing, like, a tin helmet that, like, you can't get brainwaves through it.
Well, I think it should be, this might be too much. This might be too much. Let's not say like they're... I think if we're talking like a size difference, I think the humans should be about the same size as the humanoid aliens.
Yeah.
So what if... This is going to be funny.
He picks up their helmet?
Yeah, like there's one of the helmets or something like... So the atmosphere is breathable. So when the other one gets scared, he's at that thing. So when the politician does the thing and does... to greet the guy... The guy gets scared. He gets scared, runs, drops his helmet. And so the other guy gets the helmet. He's like, oh, this is kind of cool. And he puts...
You mean Greffrey?
Greffrey gets the helmet and puts it on.
Or maybe as the bombs drop it, he's scared. He's like, whoa! And he, like, puts the helmet on and, like, ducks behind cover.
I don't know, because that would be indicative of, like, knowing how to protect yourself against... But then again, he's a teacher, so he would know about history.
Yeah. one way or another. I like that. He's immune.
I think it'd be because he puts
first
the helmet
wave.
on, yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
It doesn't make him paranoid, or anything. I like that.
I think the human should take its helmet off and be like a Neil Armstrong type, like a very handsome.
Do you think he should have the helmet on the whole time, or it's that initial uplink, that makes it so that...
Greffrey?
Do you think Greffrey?
Thank you. It's a good name. It's a good name.
Do you think Greffrey would have the helmet on the whole time during the film? Or do you think, because that might be a little interesting to see it from that perspective. I think it could work. Or do you think that there's like an initial uplink connection where the hive mind controls everybody, and then once all the control is set, they're already set to do these certain thoughts, Or is it a constant tether?
Couple things. Number one, I think that the hive mind should be waking up as the movie progresses, and as it wakes up more, it controls more people.
So you think there should be like certain people that are controlled very early on,
like it's almost like spreading through people.
Oh, so then we could show comparisons as time goes on. Not obviously during a very quick period of time, but we could have it where like the same two politicians that were calmly.
Yeah, they're like beating the crap out of each other.
Well, we could have it where it starts where one of them, like next time, we have 3 segments for that. First segment is they're both really kind of nice. The second one is still the same, and the other one is just getting more violent. He's like, well, you're stupid. I don't think that's a good idea. Like an American politician,
I feel like technically they would all just be going to war, though.
Oh, so all of them that weren't affected.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be small groups at a time.
Everyone that is affected would be going to fight.
I think we could change how it's established a little bit, just a tiny bit, to say, what if it's less of like a direct hive mind of like direct control, but more like emotions, auras, and feelings. And obviously, I'm not going spiritual here, but I'm talking
as long as we don't lose that visual of the aliens marching towards the humans.
I think we could definitely do that, because I think what the implication would be is, as the hive mind is controlling them, it's basically giving negative vibes to them. It's making them want to be warlike. And so when that happens, there are people who become the generals and become the soldiers in this,
Maybe as it wakes up more, it becomes more organized. So at the beginning, it's kind of chaotic.
Okay, so it's just kind of they're all succumbing to the feelings of violence and in their nature.
And more as more people are put under the influence, they become more organized and more warlike.
I like that. And then it would become 100% hive mind towards the end, except for Greffrey.
Greffrey and maybe Greffrey's pals. So Greffrey is immune to the hive mind as it maybe like initially spreads from. Maybe they welcome the human into the main city, and that's where the hive mind is buried, or the hive queen. Yeah,
but that's not exactly like it is known, but it's still that mythological thing. So they don't see a threat at all in it. It's like we built our society on this because
Well, it's where a city was
before
at first.
Yeah, okay, I like that.
And maybe Greffrey realizes it, like maybe he's there with his brother or Grister, and
Grister,
and he's like, Rebecca, what's wrong with you? And then they all start talking in one voice. He's like, oh good, oh Grodd, Grodd and Grub.
You're terrible. I like that.
You said it wanted.
I like the implication.
And so he's like, "Oh no, I gotta go. I gotta get out of here. I gotta." And so he's not trying to beat the hive mind or the humans, but
he's scared.
Broker a peace deal. Maybe there's a way to stop because I don't want Greffrey to kill anyone.
No. I the more we've created this character, the more I want him to be a pacifist.
There's a way for the hive mind to be put to sleep, but maybe they need the humans' help.
Or they need somebody who's not affected, which would be the humans.
Yeah, Greffrey must be a Grandambassador.
I think then the humans should not be entirely idiots. I think they should just be mostly idiots. I think we should have a human, not like a parallel, because that'd be a little too much. But we should.
Do you mean a Grumman?
We should have a. Shut up. We should have a human that is. Yeah. See, now I regret saying it.
Like not a Greffrey equivalent, but like a someone who's not full warlike.
Yeah, somebody who's more diplomatic.
Someone who's more.
We could go as far and just say it's like the janitor of the ship or something,
I was gonna say it could be literally a diplomat who was brought aboard the space vessel.
Okay.
It's like, we've encountered alien life, Ambassador. Oh, well, let me see. And maybe the ambassador is like it can be young. They can be young, so it's not like an old person.
Then I think what we should also implement in that way, we should implement that when the humans, and we could show this in easily both ways, because many films have done this. We have it when the humans are talking to the aliens hear it as gibberish. When the aliens are talking to the humans hear it as bug noises. But of course, when we're in their own rights,
the perspective, yeah.
Then it's like, the humans are talking human and the aliens are talking human.
Right. So we have a little, so we have more perspective. Like we can have it cut back to that astronaut who went down on the surface. He's like, they're starting a war.
Yeah, I like that.
And the ambassador's like, are you sure? Shoot a missile, shoot a bomb at him.
Do it now. I'm grabbing my shotgun.
I left my helmet down on the surface. I'm gonna go get it back.
Scurries away. No.
Yeah, and so we can show the ambassador like trying to stop the war. There's like a hard general, and she's like, "No, we will destroy these aliens."
The ambassador's just stroking his beard, like, I don't know if this is a good idea. But of course, he's powerless in comparison. He's like,
all he can do is
suggest,
but like angrily, like you must stop attacking them. They attacked us.
We don't. How do we know that? Yeah, I like that. Definitely. Let's do that, because then if we have that, we got these two sides that we can go ahead and do an A plot, B plot, but they meet together at the end, because of course they're after the same plot.
Yeah. So Greffrey's goal is to put the hive mind to sleep, and because he's smarter, maybe he teams up with the scientist, and they kind of figure out there's a way to shut down the hive mind. Maybe they see the humans like use something that like does something to the aliens, and they figure out that, or they get their hands on it maybe, and they figure out they could use this on the hive mind, but they need more power, I guess.
Okay, so something like something that maybe, this could sound weird, but maybe there's like a laser, right, or something that ends up being used as a weapon, but instead of it killing, it just puts them to sleep. I know that sounds weird, right, but then that would that would also avoid the I don't know.
I mean, I have a problem with them killing aliens as long as we don't show the horrors of war.
Well,
where it's like maybe they get like vaporized or something.
Yeah, in space cartoon fashion.
Like they turn black and then
what weapon
particles
would be used?
shoot up.
Would they just want to destroy the hive mind then? Because that would imply that Greffrey wants to kill. Greffrey's out for blood.
Greffrey wants to grill.
Grill. Nice stack of Gurgers.
Do you have any Gretchen?
No.
Gretchen and Gruss.
Let's get some Gladys on this thing.
You gluttony Gladys.
Got some guns.
What is do you mean gruns?
No, I mean nice toasty guns.
It would be gruns. It's GR, not G.
Oh, guns.
Gruns.
Man, because that might be. I think the implication shouldn't be that.
What if it's like a neutralizer ray? Like maybe maybe as the hive mind reawakens, like the aliens are starting to build like weapons and stuff, and so the humans have this device that like they can shoot for instance, a tank, and the tank is like, it just stops still, and maybe we can have the tanks.
I like that, but hold on, I just thought of something with that. What if it was a weapon? What if it was a weapon that had a side effect? Like, okay, so when it's fired, maybe there's like a discharge. Like, it's a space weapon, all right? But the discharge can somehow break the tether to the hive mind, or there's something that the humans have other than the helmets that can break the tether to the hive mind. So what if as they find out, after Greffrey finds out, and they start using that, it starts, stopping the war and things start working. What if the hive mind has to come to the surface? So it's like this big creature. And then the humans end up destroying it. Not because... Well, the reason why is because I think it should be destroyed. Because if they put it to sleep again, there's that looming feeling of like, well, this is going to happen again.
Yeah, that's fair.
And we don't want the peaceful race to destroy it. I think the humans who are all violent should be like, kill that thing.
Well, all right, that still works with my...
Neutralizer?
My idea.
Okay,
yeah,
so
ahead, maybe maybe we can have it be a little more alien than like a mechanical tank, where it's like almost biological.
Okay.
like we can have it be like almost made from the hive mind's juices or whatever. And so when they neutralize it, Greffrey or the scientists figure out that it can kind of like break out of that hive mind control, like you said. As they like figure out how to break aliens out of this hive mind control, like they kind of form a team of, and we can obviously set this up beforehand, but like, you know, they figure out like, hey, there's this linguist expert, or maybe they can like intentionally try to break them out of this when they figure out, like, as they figure out their plan, like, all right, we need this person, this person, this person, let's go neutralize them.
Okay. So
and then break them out.
Not like, it's obviously not like they're forming their own war thing, but it's almost, they're using a structure to counter the structure.
Yeah, they're forming their own like diplomatic embassy, so to speak.
The positive side of such things, yeah.
Right, yeah.
I like that.
I figured you would.
So let's define the ending real quick, because then we're gonna go in and patch through like we always do. But let's define how it should close, at least in the sense of.
I think Greffrey Greffrey eventually finds a way to communicate with the ambassador, right?
Okay.
And through their mutual communication, they figure out a way to like de-escalate and neutralize all the hive mind aliens. And like you said, the hive mind then like crawls out of the ground. It's this big like giant grub worm or something, you know.
I like that.
And it starts destroying everything. And you know, the humans attack, and like Greffrey, like maybe Greffrey does admit like this is the only way or something.
I think Greffrey should still be kind of not like in a like a stupid way, but should still be kind of naive. But it's already too late. Like before Greffrey can like actually say like, well, maybe we shouldn't like kill it, and then all of a sudden Rob's dead, you know? Because then that still shows that purity in Greffrey, you know?
Yeah,
because I don't think because if we once again it's a kids' film, it doesn't matter. But I think it should matter to the point of we don't show him getting too cynical. We show him working through a struggle, but keeping his innocence.
Well, maybe his arc, quote unquote, is like diplomacy. Like they've never had a need for an ambassador or diplomat because you know they all
get along.
Live in a utopia,
right?
Yeah. And so maybe maybe Greffrey's role is like he becomes an ambassador and then he has to start like weighing important options. And like as the hive mind crawls out of the ground, she starts taking over minds again. And Greffrey's like, this is the only way our people will be safe.
Okay, I can agree with that.
Attack the humans. So it's like, yeah, it's out of necessity.
I like that because then we could kind of lead up and we could have it where his skill set shows that he would be a diplomat, an ambassador, but in this world, it's not needed. So he's a teacher, you know? It's like, okay.
Right. And maybe we could show, like there's a kid who's maybe a bit of a troublemaker, and Greffrey, like, talks him down and, like, kind of...
well, and even if we're being honest, in the human world, the best teachers are the ones who can know how to talk to people, you know?
Right.
So...
and maybe it could be almost a mistake on the aliens when they first were freed from the hive mind. Like, they didn't kill it because they were so peaceful.
Well, they were relieved and happy or something, yeah.
Right. And so, but now that, like, Greffrey realizes that there is no other option.
Right, this will always be a threat if we let it remain.
Right, this is the way peace will be made across of Girth. Which is, of course, their planet.
Their granite, yeah.
Yeah, their granite.
The granite.
Live on a big old rock.
Grok.
Yeah.
Well, this is great.
Cool, so...
I'm sorry, great.
Great.
I like it, though. I really do.
It's short and sweet. I feel like we should...
Let's recap. I think that's good. Let's recap.
Do we need to talk? I mean, we just kind of... Like, it's him getting a team together, kind of trying to survive.
Well, let's recap from the beginning. So we've got Greffrey, the teacher, the history teacher at a grade school. We showcase the world as being very human-like, very civil, but more of a utopian.
Yeah.
And...
More than we're ever going to be.
Yeah, but we're also not Graylians.
True.
That's why it starts with GR, because everything's so great there. We get the history lesson of we showcase, I think, first and foremost, we showcase with some kind of funny, but maybe slightly over on the nose jokes with how great it is. We get them at school. We get the kid who's kind of being a troublemaker, shows the diplomacy that Geoffrey has. Then I think very quickly we should introduce the scientist character and other individuals that we want to be a part of the main cast.
Maybe it could be Geoffrey's friend who's like, he visits them after work or something. Yeah,
I think they should work in a field that specializes, of course, in space travel, because they'd be the one that would get the notification about the... they'd be the one that discovers the anomaly, the movement out in space, and the humans.
And maybe they like... It's a very primitive thing, like us in the 50s, where like we have a satellite out there, but that we don't have space travel or anything like that.
Right, and so
prime directive.
Yeah. So what would end up happening here is the humans come. The humans at first are not. I think we should also showcase the human perspective as soon as they land. So I think basically what should happen is the scientists say, "Oh, they're going to be here like in by the speed that they're moving. They're going to be here in a week or a couple of days or something."
All right, and so like the aliens prepare a welcoming party.
Yeah.
While I think the humans shouldn't be like they don't want to go to war, but they do when they perceive a threat.
I think what we should showcase, and this is an idea. You can shoot this down as quickly as you want. We show the cast of humans.
Pew!
Oh, you shot it down. We show the cast of humans, and we showcase the general, the ambassador, and I think. Obviously a bunch of other humans, but we also show the one that gets sent out too. I think the one that gets sent out is kind of begrudging and should show, even if their intentions aren't bad, that they're scared. Like, they kind of don't want to go because they think they look kind of scared. And the general, gets them into it. It's like, oh, what are you, a wimp? Like, what are you, just a sissy?
I like the idea of the guy who goes down being like a Neil Armstrong, like super chiseled and brave, but like as soon as the aliens do their thing, he's like, oh!
Yeah, that would actually be funnier. I like that. Okay.
Or maybe, like...
Maybe the ambassador wants to go, and that guy could step up and be like, no, just leave it to me.
Yeah, the general's like, no, we're sending Brett Longman.
Yeah, obvious joke.
Hello.
Yeah. Be somebody who's there, and it'd be the Zach Brannigan of a character, where it's like, yeah, I've done this. I'm a space hero.
But his big coward.
Oh, deeply inside, yeah.
Deep down.
Actually, just very shallow.
So he sit down, the aliens like do a welcoming party, but he doesn't know that. Like he gets scared when they do their like surprise, but like they shoot out claws and stuff. Yeah.
No, I like that though. Like
he thinks he's the hot potatoes. He's like, aliens, I am here as Earth's first man on this planet.
I think we should cut. We should have in that scene. We should cut between the two perspectives. Not like all the time, but I think we should have where we have a human perspective where he's like talking like that, and then it cuts mid his conversation, cuts back to the aliens, and we just see this confused look on them because they're hearing like,
yeah,
and they just go, "Oh, we're glad to have." Like they're trying to
everyone show them love.
And so all of them raise up their claws, and you see the spikes come out on their arms, and everything. And
he screams, they run back. The aliens go, I think that went well.
Well, maybe like they even make some kind of like slight scream noise when they do it. It's not a scream from their perspective. It's like yeah, and then when you hear it from the human perspective, it's like an alien screech. So when he screams, they run back and they're like, oh, he must have really enjoyed that one.
Right. And maybe the general could be his mother.
I don't know, but that'd be funny.
So he could be like a prissy boy. Like he gets back on the ship and he's like, "Mother, shoot them."
I like that.
And so they shoot him. The hive mind wakes up, starts taking over people. Geoffrey is immune because he has that very cool helmet.
I think we should see Geoffrey's friends start to slowly change too. But Geoffrey can get to the point where he can actually get things planned out enough. By the time they figure it out, the first people to be neutralized would be his friends for the sake of convenience.
Well, the people around. Yeah. And so then he runs to the scientist. He says, the humans attack. The hive's mind's back up. And then they kind of formulate their plan. And, you can have some fun set pieces as they go.
Yeah.
Trying to... they're out on a battlefield trying to get this... You
got interesting rock formations that look like specific pieces of cover from a certain thing.
And maybe throughout this, like the ambassador can kind of be in contact with Geoffrey as they kind of learn how to talk to each other.
Yeah, I think how they should, honestly, I don't think it should be verbal communication. I think it should be when they talk to each other, they find out something with like writing.
Yeah.
Because I think both of them obviously would be intelligent enough to start to understand when they're using kind of the written language, like they're scratching something out and it's like, wait, he's looking at it and he scratches something, the other guy scratches something else and they're like, okay, they're not idiots. Let's figure this out,
Yeah, and then so they're like, oh, we must have peace. And then they realize the only way to do that is to stop the hive mind.
Yeah.
Because the ambassador, or the general, won't stop attacking until
the aliens retreat or something.
Right. Yeah. And so they figure out this plan to neutralize the hive mind, and they have to rescue some people from the hive mind's control.
Right. They have to neutralize the hive mind's control over things that she has created. Which, like we said, we'd create the weapons of war would be basically products of the hive mind. They would be these biomechanical creations that are sent out, and we find out, I could say that when something gets attacked, like let's say when one of those things gets attacked, it neutralizes it, but it also, whoever's like inside it or around it, like is like, wait, what the heck? Like they kind of have a little wake up moment.
Yeah.
But the weapon is too weak to go against all of the forces at once, you could say. And so it still would create where you have that imagery, like you said earlier, where you got the aliens marching in the rows, indicative of the game, obviously.
Space Invaders.
On the Gritari. There we go.
Anyway, so the hive mind, or they managed to relinquish control of the hive mind. The hive mind comes bursting out of the ground, starts, really like, maybe it can have some weapons of its own or something, like a psychic beam or something that it could shoot at the aliens.
It's like an overseer. It's got all these powers.
Geoffrey and the ambassador, like, they managed to communicate with each other pretty well, and Geoffrey realizes that this is the only way they will have peace, and so the general destroys it.
I like that. Yeah, because the arc of having to come to a point to make these decisions for the greater good, but also more or less to keep everything the way it needs to be.
Yeah. So as opposed to Minecraft, where it was that the main character was pure and hopeful the whole time, on this, Geoffrey must kind of become a realist and weigh the options, which isn't a bad thing.
And I think he can still keep his attitude. And I think it's not going to be too awkward to make him like that, because if he is a teacher and we imply that he knows of this legend, he would have, obviously he's not stupid, he would know, okay, I don't want something like this to happen again.
Yeah.
Once again, we go back to that statement, those who do not know history or choose to not know it are doomed to repeat.
Yeah, are doomed to right.
So to keep it,
and so and he's like, this is the only way we'll be safe.
Yeah, I like
cool.
that.
And so also like as soon as I imagine with anything, if you have a self-contained society, as soon as another society enters into your sphere of influence, things get a lot more complicated. You can't all be milk and honey anymore.
No, you can't. But
which is a nasty combination.
It doesn't mean you still can't get the positives out of it,
Right. And I think after this, like, kind of the ending scene, we should show, like, humans and aliens are starting to learn how to communicate with each other, at least, like minimally.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, they know a few words, and, they're, like, showing off stuff to humans, and humans are showing off stuff to them. And there's this, like, mutual, beneficial kind of spirit between them.
There's a throwaway gag with a really disgusted Brent Longarm, not really getting along too well with him, but he's he's there and he's funny.
I think he should be like I think he should actually be like really into it or something.
Okay, could go either
funny.
Way,
he's like, what? He's like, wow, look at that.
Wow, is that a grog?
Wow,
gark.
And that's the Space Invaders.
I love it. I don't say I love it too much, but I love this one.
Not Space Invaders.
No, Space Invaders. I like its simplicity.
I see no reason we can't call it Space Invaders.
I think we can just call it Space Invaders.
I don't think anyone's going to be confused with Space Invaders. Grace Invaders. Yeah.
And that's even harder to pronounce than Space Invaders.
A little more simple, a little more upbeat than Tetris.
I think we need it to be upbeat.
I like it a lot. I think it's very simple.
This one is definitely a kid-friendly film. For sure.
Yeah, it definitely. It's got those Iron Giant kind of vibes where it's like there's these bigger kind of undertones, but like it's still at its heart like a kid's movie who's like, teaches you that, you can get along with
right.
people. History is good. Hive minds are bad.
Hive minds are bad, but hive minds with
gender's a social construct.
Cool.
All this stuff. Bioweapons are pretty cool, kids. So is there anything else left to talk about Space Invaders?
I think we would have to sit down and make a list of jokes and bits, but that's not necessarily our specialty.
Well, we did make a bunch of words, and we added GR to the front of them, so it does not get funnier than that.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me, grunnier than that. All right, well, let's wrap up the show then.
Well, thank you so much for watching. If you like the show, share the show, please.
Share it.
What are we on?
What are we on? We are on, we got a podcast on Spotify, podcast on iTunes, podcast on YouTube, podcast on pretty much wherever you can get podcasts. Rate us on iTunes, subscribe to us on YouTube, all that stuff, help get word out about the show so more people could come listen to our dumb Space Invader ideas where we say Gruffrey is a good name.
And if that's too much to remember to go look for all those places, you can go to one place and find everything.
One website.
And that is www.speculativerealism.com. And that's reel with 2 E's, like a film reel.
Like a film reel. Awesome. On our website is also a link to our Patreon, where you can, if you want to support the show in a more financial way, you can do that there. We really appreciate everyone who's helping us out. And helping us grow and make more shows and kind of up production and all that boring technical stuff that helps us make better stuff.
If you've got an idea for a game that you want us to do, or one of our already pre-done ideas that you think we could do better, feel free to leave a comment if you're on YouTube.
Oh, we could do better.
We definitely could do better, and let us know how we could do better. Leave us a comment on YouTube or send us an email that you'll find on our website with any ideas you have or suggestions or feedback.
And if you're like, man, I had this a great idea for like a Hollow Knight movie, and you can make it this genre, and you can kind of follow these beats. Hey, send it to us. We read everything. We'll definitely we might work on it on a Hollow Knight episode if we do.
And we will make sure to credit those who give us the ideas.
Of course. You can also find us for more day-to-day updates on social media. We are mainly on Twitter, but we also have an Instagram and Facebook. On all of those, we are at SpecReel. SPECREEL. Again, like a film reel.
What does it mean to me?
What?
SPECREEL. What does it mean to me?
SpecReel. So looks like the train is looks like we're getting ready to leave. We're heading off here soon. We're gonna head off get out of the speculation station, man.
Oh yeah, man. We'll see you at the next stop, eh?
A choo choo.
Bye.